Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Be Like Christ. I just got back from taking a walk. It feels like spring for the first day, I think, here in Greece is where I'm at for the next couple weeks. It feels really nice today, so my wife and I took a walk this morning. We are looking at Proverbs chapter 23 today. This proverb has some similar themes to what we've looked at before, but I've done my best to select kind of some things we haven't looked at before. And those will appear in our highlighted Proverbs on our second page. If you want the PDF, you can download it on our website at tobelikechrist.com. We have chosen to break the book of Proverbs down into three sections for comprehension. The first one is chapters 1 through 9, the way of wisdom versus the way of folly. Right now, we are in the Proverbs of Solomon, which will take us through chapter 29. So we've got about 6 or so chapters left of Proverbs from Solomon. Let's take a look at our definition section. I've got 4 words I want to define today. The first one is to desist. This appears in verse 4 if you're using the English Standard Version, maybe some other versions. This is to stop doing something, to desist, like a cease and desist letter. Number 2, we looked at last time, ancient landmarks. These were markers that indicated property rights. So a landmark may have been set at the end of a man's field to mark where his property ended and his neighbors began. And you can read more about that in God's law to the Israelites, for example, in Deuteronomy 19, verse 14. Then we have gluttonous. This is doing things to excess. A lot of times it refers to food, like, eating in excess, but not always. It can refer to other things. And then finally, adder. An adder is a poisonous snake, and I believe it can refer to a number of different species of snakes. And of course, our interpretive principle never changes. As you read through the book of Proverbs, it's important to keep in mind that the Proverbs discuss principles and not promises, general truths, but not absolutes. Today, I want to highlight 3 Proverbs, and a couple of them, at least one of them, span several verses of the chapter. The first one I want to look at is verses 1 through 3, and it's an interesting one. Let's read it. When you sit down to eat with a ruler, observe carefully what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you are given to appetite. Do not desire his delicacies, for they are deceptive food. There's a couple slight variations as to the interpretation of this and what exactly it means and what we can take away from it, but here's one to think about. When you're invited to dine with important people, maybe rich people, people high in the government, people of power, maybe celebrities, keep your senses about you, and do not allow yourself to be intoxicated by the high society and the fine offerings. Some people, if you put them around luxury or famous people, they're just in awe of everything around them and awe of those people, almost worshiping those people. They see them as this is the greatest opportunity of my life. And they don't always think straight. If a famous person asks them to do something or gives them something, they accept it as if it's just a privilege of their life, and they see everything through rose-colored glasses. Like, these are my idols, and I'll do anything to remain in their company. And wow, isn't it so great to be me, to have this incredible privilege and to keep company with these people. But I think what Solomon is saying here is that rich people don't always invite people to their table for no reason. They may be setting fine food in front of you and surrounding you with important company because they really just want something from you. Their hospitality is a deception, a way of winning you over so that they can use you to get what they want. So for application, we need to be aware and wise to the fact that some people use generosity and hospitality to achieve their own ends. They'll wine and dine you, but there are strings attached to that. A wise man can discern when generosity is selfless versus when it's selfish. He's not going to lose his head just because an important person is sitting across from him or he's gifted some luxurious present. Proverb number 2 is going to come from verse 22. Listen to your father who gave you life, and do not despise your mother when she is old. A wise man gives his ear to his parents when they speak, even after he's grown into adulthood. He won't despise the advice that he gets from his elderly parents. Just because you've grown up doesn't mean that you have nothing left that you can learn from your parents. They can still help guide you through phases of your life that you haven't walked through yet. If they were wise in raising you, they can help you to raise your children to be wise. Parents are able to notice things about us that others can't, and their close relationship with us puts them in a position to instruct us and sometimes to correct us in ways that other people can't. If we're supposed to honor those who have gray hair, as we're told in chapter 1631 and 20:29, that applies first and foremost to our parents. And now our final proverb for today comes from verse 17. Let not your heart envy sinners, but continue in the fear of the Lord all the day. Every day, we need to remind ourselves that Satan doesn't have anything that we want. Satan doesn't have anything that's going to make our lives better. We need to remind ourselves of that every day because he's really good at making it look like he does. As children of God, we really have nothing to envy about those who are living in sin. Everything that Satan makes to look appealing is a deception. Every form of satisfaction that he promises is trickery, and everything of substance that he offers is a mirage. Now, in contrast to that, living in the ways of the Lord is the most wholesome and fulfilling life. Everything about him is virtuous. The satisfaction found in him is deep, and the promises that he has for us are rich and real. As a man becomes wiser and wiser, the less and less he'll look at sinners and envy their lives and the things that they have. So there you have it. That is Proverbs 23 and our highlights from the chapter. I hope everyone has a fantastic day. I hope you have a chance to apply some of these into your life today. And Lord willing, join us again tomorrow for Proverbs 29. 29? No, 24.